Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is quickly becoming one of the most dominant athletes in all of sports, especially within women's track and field, after just breaking the world record for the 400-meter hurdles for the 6th time. And we really wanted to go into some of the things that she does well within her running when she's running the 400-meter hurdles, just to give you a better explanation of what she's doing that makes it so she's so much better than any of the competition, to make it so then you could potentially apply it to your own running. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into it here. And this is going to be as she's going around the last curve. And we can see her here. She's in the air currently. And what she does a really good job of is, as we look at the landing, she lands on the front part of her foot. The more we can zoom in, the better we can see that she's on really the toe front part of the foot. And she does a great job of, we can look at the time at the bottom, 3:7:00, of being able to absorb there and transition right back forward. So she spends very little time on the ground. She lands again at 0.00, and by the time it's at 0.1, she's like off. So in between the 0.07 to 0.1 time period, she's already off the ground. And so the second best athlete in the world here is Femke Bol. And you can see when she lands, it's at 43. And by the time we're at the 53, her foot is still on the ground. So she just spends a little bit more time on the ground. And when I was going and breaking this all down, when looking at the difference between the athletes, they all take about 16 steps in between the hurdles. And so it's not a matter of taking less steps or more steps. It's really a matter of being able to be quick with the foot contact time. So that's why I'm really going into this. And if you're a 400-meter hurdler, it looks to me like the goal would be 16 steps in between the hurdles. That's going to be as they're approaching this curve. It might be a little bit longer for that, but it seems like there's like a rhythm that they typically are landing and also jumping. So she's always jumping off, at least what I've seen with Sydney McLaughlin, is she's always jumping off the left, always landing on the right, where it's like the opposite with Femke Bol. She's always jumping off the right, landing on the left. And so there seems to be a rhythm that they're trying to be able to achieve. For most of the runs, it seemed like they were pretty similar in terms of foot contact time. But then when we see this last little bit here, as we see Sydney McLaughlin landing, we'll go one more step here. So here at 2:0, you see the foot striking the ground. And then by 3:0, again, she's off the ground. So 0.1 foot contact time. That's really good for a 400 meter. Typically, we'll see closer to 0.14, which is like what we'll see here. So we see with Femke Bol, she was landing at 2.7 or around 2.7. 3.7, she's still on the ground, off by 4.0. Here, 6.0. She's close to off by 7.0, so she's not bad. Here's a 9.0. And then off by 4.04. So she's a little bit longer on the right side in comparison to the left side. But again, that ends up to me being the difference is as she absorbs, as Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone absorbs after jumping over the hurdle, as well as in between, especially at the end, she just does a great job with that foot contact time. But when she's landing, 6.4, and she's off again by 7.4. So it takes her under 0.1 seconds to be able to absorb and transfer her weight off the foot, which is a tremendous, tremendous ability to be able to do at this high of a level. Because as you're getting up off the ground, it's typically going to take a little bit longer to be able to absorb. So again, we'll look at this one here, 0.04 when she's landing, and then is kind of off by 0.14. But like, look at the difference between the height of the foot for her in comparison to what we see with Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone after 0.1 seconds. So this is the same amount of time. So it's a little bit higher. Okay? And again, you can see that other leg is a little bit more out in front, which to me, when we're talking about 400-meter hurdles, right, that amount of time, it ends up being just such small differences that over the period of the entire race makes it so now there's a big gap between the athletes. And that's what stands out with Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. I mean, we haven't seen anybody this dominant, I think, within track and field since, you can make an argument, since Usain Bolt, right? Because when he was at the top of his game, he was pretty much unbeatable within the Olympics. And it looks like that's how she is currently looking to try to be able to beat 50 seconds in the 400 meter. I mean, it's crazy that she's even running 50 seconds in the hurdles. I know for training women and stuff like that, you know, even getting down to 55 seconds in the 400, like that's a scholarship level time, 55, 54. Like you can go Division I with that kind of mid to low 50-second 400 meter. It's not even the 400-meter hurdles. That's just running the straight. So the fact that she is potentially going to beat 50 seconds while also jumping over a hurdle is just unbelievable. And again, it shows that what she's able to do really well is the foot contact time, right? Being able to absorb that force very quickly. Typically, again, when you're jumping over a hurdle, you're going to end up taking more time to have to absorb the ground contact, but she does a great job. Again, here 5-1 is when she lands. I'm referring to that time clock here at the bottom, and then at 6-1, that's when she's already off the ground. And that just, and after doing so many hurdles, it's just very uncommon to be able to see somebody be able to do something like that. Sometimes it almost seems like she's covering more distance per step because of how far she's going, but when you really slow it all down, they're all taking the same steps in between the hurdles, but she's just much quicker with that foot contact time, and even more so quicker with the landing. So when she lands, transitions that heel off the ground very quickly, and that's why I think she can carry over her great times to the 200, to the 400 very well, is because that's the same type of thing that you need in the other events. Is you need to be able to have fast foot contact time. That's really such a big thing when it comes to training speed, is how much time are you spending on the ground. So the fact that she's spending such a little amount of time on the ground while jumping over a hurdle just shows that that is a skill that could be carried over to a variety of different types of events. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this ended up making sense. I hope it was something that you could use and is valuable to you. You can use to improve your own sprinting. If it helped you, like, subscribe. We're going to have a couple other videos here that can help you with your sprinting. We'll have one that's going to be the women's 200 meter. Could be a breakdown of that, as well as the men's 200 meter, to help you better understand how those two races went and what they were able to do very well. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.